Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for your time. It's great to be speaking to you today. My name's Fran Johnson. I'm Associate Director on the Alliance Manchester Business School MBA programmes. I'm lucky enough to support both our full-time and our global MBAs. Today we will be talking mainly about our full-time programme. I'm not sure what stage people are when they're looking at their MBA programmes, but if you've got any questions about either our full-time or our global, remember today's session is for you, so make sure you get your questions in there and we'll answer them as we go through. I think Rupert's going to be my able assistant and help me guide through the presentation. So should we flick onto the first slide? So, before I go into our MBA specifically, I do want to touch upon why study an MBA. Now, I'm lucky enough that I have a very small cohort of MBAs, so I look for 100 of the best applicants that I can get, and I need to make sure that everyone that joins my MBA is doing it for the right reasons, or the reasons that are right to them. So, again, because I know many of you will be at different stages of looking and selecting an MBA, I do just want to touch upon what is really important drivers and what you should consider when you're looking at a provider. Because the big secret that's not out there, but is out there, is that actually all MBAs teach the same things. So we may have different electives, but to be an accredited program, and that's one of the things that you presumably should look for, is accreditation, is that the core subjects that MBAs teach are generally the same, because we have to be an MBA. Our students expect it, and certainly our accrediting bodies expect it, as do employers. What's different is the method of teaching, so how it's taught, and that's what we'll cover today. So really this slide, which is probably the worst slide you'll ever see in your life, and I will get it updated at some point, is just an aid memoir for you to start thinking about what types of considerations do you need to make when looking for an MBA. So the first two are there regarding your career and moving up that career ladder and hopefully up that earning potential ladder. But one thing that I would say is that for some of my students, they do an MBA because they want to go straight out into a career where they're earning significant salaries, and they'll have a background that will allow them to move into a much more senior role. And again, remember, when you're doing an MBA, you should be targeting those senior roles. But for some other of my MBAs, it's not about their immediate earning potential, because many of my MBAs will be looking for those entrepreneurship opportunities or moving into a family business and really taking their longer term careers. So again, when you're looking at your MBA and what it's going to do for you, bear in mind what your exit strategy is. So start thinking about where you want to be post MBA before you even sign up for an MBA. An MBA in itself is somewhere to move you forward. It's not a goal in its own right. The other picture up there really is the range of schools, and I think that's really indicative of what I was saying earlier. There are so many MBA providers out there at the moment. Many of them are excellent schools, excellent reputations with excellent programs. But as I said, most of us, when it comes to the core teaching, teach the same things. And there are two things that you should look for. One is the quality of that teaching. So again, look for the accreditation. A number of schools have got triple accreditation and other schools have got local accreditation. So look for what quality guarantees you're after with regards to the teaching. But the second thing, and perhaps the most important thing once you've decided you're going to a reputable school, is the way they teach. So do you want to be in a classroom of 400 students? Do you want to be in a classroom of 50 students? Do you want to have an international cohort, or do you want to be in a cohort that's based in your local region? So again, think about not only what's being taught, but how it's being taught. And also, what type of learning do you do? Are you better when you're sat in a classroom and somebody's delivering lectures at you? Or do you learn by doing? Are you more practical based? And again, I'll talk a little bit more about our MBA and how we teach going forward. And it's important really that you get the MBA that's right for you. The picture in the middle with the guy holding his head in his hands is really the one thing that I also need to make sure everyone's aware of, is that an MBA, although we sometimes forget about it, is a postgraduate degree. And that means it has got an academic core to it. And it's tough. You would hate me if I accepted you onto our program and it was easy, because we need to make sure that you're differentiated on the market when you leave. So it has to be difficult, but it also has to be challenging from an academic viewpoint. So please don't forget, when you're looking at doing an MBA, it has got an academic grounding to it, and you have to be confident that you're able to put the work in that's required to get the best out of the program. The next picture there is about the network. So again, when you're looking at selecting a school, I did my MBA back in 2002, and I am still closely networked with everyone in my cohort. So if I've got a problem from, I don't know, I want to do a marketing project, looking at operations or management side, there are people now that I studied with all those years ago that are very much part of my professional network and will stay so as we go through. Whoever you study with now will become your professional network for the next 20 or 30 years. So when you're looking at schools, make sure not only that it's a great school for you, but also that the people that study there are the people that you want in your professional network for the next 20 years. The fifth picture there is the graduation. And what I wanted to do is say, yes, you do get a qualification, but remember, and this is where the passport sign comes in, over the years, the number of MBAs in the marketplace has increased exponentially. So 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I started work, there was a woman in my office who was doing an MBA, and she could have walked into any job in any sector for a significant salary. Nowadays, there are a lot more MBAs in the marketplace. So it's really important that when you select a school, you understand what that school is going to do for your brand, you understand how you're going to leverage your MBA, and that you don't just think getting an MBA is the passport. The MBA will give you the skills, it will give you the drive, it will open up opportunities for you, but it's really important that you understand exactly how you're going to leverage that MBA. And again, speaking to a school, when you go through the admissions process, they should be happy having those conversations with you. Because for me personally, as an associate director in an MBA program, I don't want to accept anyone onto my program that I can't help support their goals. The last picture there is just to say that whoever on this call chooses to do an MBA, and as long as you go to the right school for you, and hopefully some of you will come and join our program, is you will have an amazing time. It is a life-changing experience, so do make sure you do your due diligence and select the right school, and also do your MBA for the right reasons. Okay, so that's why I do an MBA. And again, like I say, we'll be happy to talk to anyone about their motivations and whether the MBA is right for them at this time. But why Manchester? So we are a city that has got everything you need and that you will never, ever get lost in. We are a city that has an international brand. So again, I travel the globe, luckily, with my role. And when I say I'm from Manchester, I don't have to explain to anyone where Manchester is or what Manchester's about. Now, I'd love to say that's just for the university, but it might actually be because I believe we've got a couple of football teams that some people know. Just a word of warning, if you do apply to our programme, and I hope some of you will consider it, please don't say you're coming here just for the football, because that will be an automatic no. But seriously, one thing about Manchester and one thing about the UK in itself is that we are a small and well-connected city and region. So Manchester, we're just 2 hours from London, 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Edinburgh and Glasgow, an hour from Liverpool and Leeds, and again, probably 2 hours from most of the places you want to get to across Europe. So if you're using it as a base to network and to travel, Manchester's a wonderful place to study and live. We love our students, and we love our city. Okay, Rupert. And again, if you've got any questions as we go through, make sure you type them in, because this session is for you certainly more than for anyone else on the line. Okay. So why Manchester specifically, and why our university? Scroll through all of these transitional builds. We've all been at work when they've done that to us. Great, thank you. So there's a couple of things on this slide that I think is pertinent to all of us on this call. The first thing is the bottom right-hand corner. So when I was talking at the start about accreditation for me just means that when I was selecting an MBA, and when you're looking to select an MBA, it means that you can be assured that the MBA is looked at by an external body and is accredited. So if you look at our accreditation, I think we're one of 1%, I think it is, schools that have got triple accreditation. We're accredited both at a business school level, so AACSB and EQUIS. So AACSB is in the States, EQUIS in Europe, accredits our business school. So it says across all of our programs, we are a reputable and quality business school. AMBER specifically reaccredits our MBA program. So again, what it means for you as a student is that you're confident you're buying a quality program. What it means for me and my colleagues is it means we're audited every year. And whilst that does create work, it also creates a lot of energy and enthusiasm to make sure that we continue to develop and push the program forward. The other thing to notice on here is really when we talk about the campus and being part of the wider university. So anyone that joins Alliance Manchester Business School also joins the University of Manchester, and we are the largest campus-based university in the UK, and I think the second largest in Europe. The facilities we've got on campus are amazing, and the opportunity to network not only within the business school but across the broader university with the Graphene Institute and other areas is second to none. Thirdly, we also have global centres, so I'll talk about these a little bit more, but when you come to Manchester and you study in our MBA programme, I will have a cohort of around 100 and 110 students. These will come from across 30 nationalities, so you'll already be in an international programme. But also we have 6 international centres, so in a second year, a lot of my full-time MBAs go and study abroad for a period of their studies. Okay, and again, Rupert, dive in if I'm missing anything, but I think we can skip to the next slide. Okay, so this just gives you a flavour, as we were speaking about the international aspect of our programme. What's very important to us as a programme, especially one that has a relatively small and selective cohort, is that we keep that balance. So you would be very annoyed with me if you are an engineer from India and you turn up in a class full of 99 other engineers from India. There's nothing wrong with engineers from India, but you would be frustrated because part of the reason of doing an MBA is often to get that cross-sectional sectoral experience and learn from your peers. And we recognise that, so we work very hard to make sure that our cohort has balance, both from a nationality point of view, but also from an industry point of view. So again, we're looking for people with diverse backgrounds and diverse thoughts to bring into the classroom and learn from each other. Our average age is 29. We do accept people with 3 years experience. I'd also consider people with 30 years experience. The most important thing for me is, as I said at the start, and should be the most important thing for anyone looking to admit somebody onto their MBA programme, is that you're doing it at the right time for you and your career. Okay, let's move on. Okay. So again, I'm incredibly biased. I do love our programme, but one of the reasons that I love our MBA is because although, as I said at the start, all MBAs teach the same things, we do have a unique way of delivering our programme. And it really does, when I look at my MBAs, and I'm working with guys that are working on projects at the moment, we do transform people. We get incredibly intelligent, articulate business people that join us, and they develop and grow into incredible articulate leaders. By the time they go from our program, they are confident in making decisions, confident coping with ambiguity, and that's the most important thing for me. So if we look on here, what's so different about our MBA? Okay, well, we have face-to-face learning. We are second in the world for our research, so you get some of the most amazing lecturers in the room that want to hear from you as well. One of the things that excites our lecturers working on the MBA is that they get to work with people that have come straight from business and have ideas and opinions of their own, so they love being challenged. We have a variety of business competitions, both internal and external. And again, from my point of view, I love it when our students go onto the international showcase and show just how great we are. We have an amazing postgraduate career service. Again, they work with our students from the moment they accept their offer right the way through to their first post-MBA career and on. Again, I was on a conversation with a gentleman today who graduated in 2006, and we were talking about his next career moves. So we keep in contact, and our career service work with you to look at your individual career path. Again, anyone that's looking to join my program should be looking to exit into a senior management role. And as you know, no company needs 50 senior managers. They need that one right person. So again, it's really important that you work out your own individual goals, and our postgraduate career service help you do that. We offer an internship on our programme, and 80% of my students choose to do an internship. It's usually a paid internship and can either be a structured programme, or one of the things that my students do brilliantly is self-source an internship with a company that they're interested in. Again, working with the postgraduate service and the support team here, we get some amazing experiences out of that. I talked earlier about the international aspect of our programme. So we have got 6 international centres, and I'll talk a little bit more about them. And you can go on study tours to either Dubai or Shanghai, and we're looking to expand that programme, but also global electives and exchange. So I've just this morning had the pleasure of telling my first years who's going to be going on exchange in their autumn term. And that's when they go and experience learning in another country. We have an alumni network. Now, I hate actually this figure of, I think it's 50,000 that's on there. It's a bit obscured on my screen because that's just like a telephone book. I might as well just hand you the internet and say, there you go. What's more important to me is our network of MBA alumni. And one of the things that I recommend you do, whichever MBA schools you're considering, is make sure you speak to alumni before you join that program. And it's not so that I can put you in touch with some alumni that tell you we're great, because frankly, I'd be stupid if I put you in touch with people that hated us. But it's more so that you get the feel of what I was saying earlier. Are these people that you enjoy studying with? Are these the type of people that will challenge you? Are these the type of people that would enhance your learning experience? And most importantly, are these the type of people you want in your professional network going forward? One of the things that I'm incredibly proud of are our alumni. And I know that if I reach out to our alumni, I'm going to India in the next 2 weeks, I'll be meeting with lots of them from across the last 15 years, and they're all there supporting each other and supporting our program. So we really have got a strong alumni network. Now, the final slide on here is the live projects. And this is where the title of our presentation today came in. And this is really, if I talk about us MBAs teaching the same things and saying that the differentiation between programs is the way they teach, this is the thing that I need to get across to you today, is that on the Manchester MBA, we learn by doing. And it's not just something that we put in our marketing material, and it's not just a 4-week project or internship. Our live client projects are embedded into our program. They are part of the way we teach. Our students are assessed not in what they can parrot back in the classroom, but what they can apply in a live project environment. So throughout our MBA, you learn in the classroom, but alongside that, all the way through, you will be delivering on a live, externally facing client consultancy project. Now, why that's so important is because I don't want anyone leaving our program that hasn't had the opportunity to apply what they've learned in the classroom into a live environment. Case studies are wonderful, but case studies have a right or wrong answer. When you're working on a project, there is nobody to tell you what the right or wrong answer is. You have to work to apply that knowledge. You get support from our faculty, you get support from people like myself, but ultimately you have to develop the confidence and the ability to apply your MBA learning into a live environment. That is unique. Okay, Rupert, let's go on. Okay, so this talks a little bit about our career service. Again, I know my colleague Chris Garnett, who runs this service, does some of the webinars for our schools. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, I'm sure you can reach out and engage with one of those. But suffice to say, we have a range of recruiters. And what, again, I would say is being a program of 100 and 110, where we're looking for people to exit at a senior level, please don't join our program thinking that any one of these companies comes on campus and hires 50 associates. It doesn't work like that for our model of hiring. We are looking for people to come to us from a relatively senior or experienced position and move into that senior leadership and management roles. And again, even these big name companies don't need 200 senior managers. They need the one right person. And that's what we work with you to make sure you're placed to put that forward. Okay. Okay, so here are some stats. I suppose the one that really is important to me is the return on investment. And again, when I am assessing applications, I have accepted people with a 600 GMAT and turned down people with a 750 plus GMAT because they weren't doing the MBA for the right reasons at the right time to enable them to achieve their goals. So anyone that applies and gets accepted onto our program, part of the test is, can we help you achieve your goals? And when you're engaging with business schools and you're going through the admissions process, make sure you test that. How is spending this money going to help you achieve your goals? And we work very hard to make sure that anyone we bring onto our program, we can really help them move forward. So we make sure that you've thought really how you're going to move and develop your careers. Okay, so this is where we get into, again, the applied learning and the reason that we're different. So we do believe in applied learning, and it was really built into our program from when we started in the 50s all the way through. And although what we've taught in the program has developed and changed as business has developed and changed, our ethos of applied learning hasn't. And the reason why we believe it is the only way that we ever want to teach our MBA is the fact that we are teaching you to be leaders. And when you are a leader, there is no mum or dad to ask questions of. There is no one above you to give you the answers. You have to, when you leave an MBA, have the confidence and skill sets to make decisions and to lead things forward. And we believe the only way to test that is to allow you to work in a live client environment where you have to make decisions and take things forward that have never been done before. So we use the Manchester method, and I'll take you through a screen in a minute that shows you how the projects work. We have 3 projects that increase in complexity as you go through the program and you learn more, and also increase in autonomy and how much you can really mold where that project goes. But the other thing I want to talk about on this slide really is one thing that you will either love us for or hate us for, but again, I think is really important in any MBA and anyone that's looking to become a leader, and that's reflection. So many of you will join us from having had senior careers already, or certainly very busy careers, where you're employed to get stuff done and you do things and you move forward very quickly. That's great as long as things are going well. But it's not great if things go wrong, or it's not great if you have to articulate why things work. So what we will do with you as you go through our MBA is get you to stop and reflect. How did that project go? What went right? What went wrong? What could you have done as an individual to improve the outcome? And we engage with external coaches. You have at least 4 coaching sessions as you go through our MBA to really help you reflect, not on getting a particular project or a case study right, but on developing yourself as a leader. And that's really important to us. Okay, if we skip through. I'm just looking at the time. Let's skip through this one as well. We've got half an hour for this bit. So this is where I really want to focus. So the 3 projects run all the way through your MBA. So again, remember to think about how you learn best. And if you learn best by actually testing out your skills, then our program will be the right design for you. But it is tough. So you start really when you join us with a not-for-profit project. That's when you work with a national UK charity delivering, it could be anything from looking at their marketing strategy to their operations to their HR structure. You work in a group of your peers, and what we do at the very start is we give you a client and we give you your group, because frankly you will know nothing about either your peers or your client at this point, and it is amazing. So by the time in the first week of your MBA, you will be working with an external client. We give you a lot of support during this particular project because we recognise that at this point you haven't learned in the classroom that much yet. So we work with you, so as you're learning in the classroom, you start applying this knowledge immediately in the not-for-profit project. We then go into the commercial business project. So once you've gone through two terms of your core learning, so you've managed to get all of that basic knowledge. Again, remember, all MBAs will teach you that core disciplines, whether it's finance, corporate finance, marketing, strategy, all of that learning. You will then come into the commercial business project, and we will expect you to apply this learning now with an external client. So we've moved from a not-for-profit client to a commercial client. Now, sometimes people ask me whether these are made-up projects, you know, one of our provisos when we're working with these clients is that it has to be a genuine business problem and a genuine business issue. So many of our clients will either come to us when they haven't got internal resources to deliver a project, or often some of them will come to us with something they've already outsourced to a consulting firm to get a parallel view on what their findings are. We expect you at this point, you will work with a group, again, of your peers, and we make sure that there's a spread of experiences and backgrounds in that group. But at this point, you will also be asked to bid for your work. So again, this adds another element of the realism in there, is that you will select 3 projects that are fascinating for you, and you will be expected to bid in front of the client for them, and the client clicks it. Okay, we then move into the International Business Project. So this is the capstone project, and at the end of your MBA journey on the 15 and 18-month pathway, you will do a full-time 12-week consultancy project. Our recent clients are there on the right. We have many repeat clients that come back to us year and year. We also work hard to make sure we've got new clients to make sure we get a range of markets and disciplines that are attractive to our students. I'm currently working with our second years that are delivering the IB project. Some of them are traveling in India, China, Japan. We've got guys out in the States and all across Europe doing primary research to deliver projects for their clients. This really is a life-changing experience, and it gets an opportunity for you to showcase your skills for a 12-week period within one of these organisations. Again, when I speak to our alumni, make sure you speak about the IB project, because for many people it does change their lives and their career journeys. Okay, again, I'm conscious of time, so let's skip forward. And this really is the slide that I'll probably stop on unless Rupert tells me to go on, because I think it encapsulates all that we've said to date. So we are traditionally an 18-month programme, and that's the view at the bottom. And what this enables you to do is access all of the opportunities that are available to you on our programme. We did, however, recognise that a number of really great candidates, whether they're sponsored by their employer or perhaps more entrepreneurial and want to get back to the market as quickly as possible, couldn't actually take the opportunity cost of being out for 18 months. So we have now got a range of exit points. You can complete our programme in 15 months or 12 months. The qualification and the intended learning outcomes are exactly the same, but as you look at this slide, you'll see that the content and the experience is slightly different. So focusing on our 18-month project, which again, a majority of my students still choose to do, you look at the first year there, so you've got your core courses, and that's where you get the learning that every good MBA teaches you. So that's your strategy, your corporate finance, your management accounting, your operations, your organisational design and behaviour. That's all your core courses. The difference you'll see with my programme and other programmes is alongside those core courses, you have the 3 projects that we've been talking about, or the 2 projects we've been talking about, and also a mergers and acquisition. Now, unfortunately, the mergers and acquisition is the only non-live project that we do, because I can't afford to fund a merger or an acquisition. But the not-for-profit and the commercial business projects are those live client-facing projects. So from day 1 of you attending our MBA, you're getting that external-facing experience. And it goes all the way through your first year. And I will be expecting you to apply what you've learned in the classroom into those projects. In the second year, if you're on our 18-month programme, this is where you get to tailor your journey further. So as I said, 80% of my students will choose to do an internship. They may also choose to take electives or do a business simulation project, which is really good fun and allows, again, you to apply all of your learning. In the autumn term, they can then go on to do one of the study tours or do an international elective. So again, go to one of our international centres, whether that's Dubai, Shanghai, Singapore, Hong Kong or Brazil, and go and study one of our electives overseas with our global cohort of students. You can also do an international exchange, which is where you swap this term with one of our exchange partners. And finally, you'll see there's that capstone project. So the last 12 weeks of your programme is spent working with that external client that you've bid for and developed that relationship with. As you go to the 15 months, Again, the program's very similar, but you'll find that you do a couple of electives up front because, of course, you're completing the program in slightly less time. And unfortunately, you don't get the opportunity to do that international exchange. In the one-year program, again, it's more condensed and you don't get the opportunity to do an exchange or an internship. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. There is no better or worse program. It really is about what you need to achieve from an MBA. So if I've got a student that's looking to change their career, really develop their network, get the maximum international experience, they're probably going to look at our year-long program. If I've got a student that has a very clear exit strategy, perhaps they're sponsored or they've got an entrepreneurship venture they're going to go back into, then the 12-month program may be for them. Whichever program you choose, you will be experiencing applied learning though. Whichever program you've got, you will have those 900 hours of client-facing work. Okay, Rupert, what have I missed and what's next?
Okay, great. Thanks, Fran. I think we've covered the majority of the program presentation, which is great, and I've just been keeping an eye on the questions as they're coming through. We've got some good questions around the projects themselves,
okay, great.
From Ira and Marco as well. How do you choose who is assigned to which projects, and do we change teams for each different project?
So,
and
yeah.
also,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
sorry, there's one more question to that. And who covers the expenses, particularly for the international business projects?
Okay, so everything you do within the course with regards to the core learning and the projects are covered by your fee. So again, there's no additional cost for not-for-profit commercial business or international business project. So there's no cost there. With regards to the projects, again, they build up in complexity. So in the not-for-profit projects, we give you your client, so it could be any of the charities that were listed, and we also select the groups. And the reason for that is because it's at the very start of your MBA. You won't know the client themselves, and you won't know your peers as well. You won't know. So what we do is we look to make sure that each group has a diverse range of skills. So there's usually an accountant, a marketing person, somebody with an operations background or engineering, and somebody that really perhaps has a HR or legal background. So we get that diversity, and also we get diversity of countries as well. So again, we're looking for people from different regions. So you don't get 5 Brits together, you wouldn't get 5 Latin American or Peruvians together. We mix that. So that's the first project. As you go through, so when you get into the commercial business project, with that one, we again select your groups. It'd be a different group, so you get to know another section of your cohort and your colleagues really well. But you get to bid for that project. So that's where it differs slightly. So though we put you in your group, so you've got that range of skills, you as a group then get to choose the top 3 projects that you're interested in bidding for. And that's where it becomes really exciting as you pitch against sounds a bit I don't know, confrontational, but pitch alongside your colleagues to try and win the project that you want. As you get to the IB project, this is when you've been working with your colleagues for the last year. You'll have an idea who works in the same way as you, which skills you admire, who has the same interests as you, who you want to develop a closer relationship with as you move forward. So in the IB, the final project, you self-select your groups, and then you also bid for your projects. So again, you look at the projects we bring in. If we have 20 groups, we normally have around 25 projects that can be bid for. You put in your bid and the client then ultimately selects. So it is a bit complicated to explain one off, but basically we do it so that you develop your skills and your exposure to external clients as we go through the program. Rupert, did that answer the question?
I think it did. Fantastic. Thanks, Fran. We've had quite a number of good questions through from Leo. Leo says, so referring a bit further back in your presentation where you're talking about why people choose to do MBA and the value of an MBA, he asked, what do you learn unique during the program that you wouldn't be able to pick up, say, from gained years work experience working in industry?
Okay, I mean, that's a really good and interesting question. I suppose it depends what role you've got in industry. So if you're been working for 25 years and you're a CEO of an organisation, I'd probably say to you, you wouldn't get a return on investment from your MBA. But if you have been working, say, for 5 to 10 years, perhaps even slightly longer, you've been working in perhaps in one sector on a set career path. So again, let's take the example of an IT professional, somebody that perhaps started as a business analyst or a coder, has moved through to be a project manager and a leader. Often within our own sector, we might hit that glass ceiling or that plateau when it's difficult then to move into those cross-functional roles. So what an MBA teaches you and enables you to do is get exposure across an organisation. So again, I often say when I get people that are applying and I ask them what they're most worried about, unless they're an accountant, they'll often say they're worried about the financial subjects. I'm not teaching anyone to be an accountant on our MBA. What I'm teaching is somebody to be a senior manager that can understand their set of accounts and can question their set of accounts. And when they sit there with their CFO, they can have the conversation with their CFO to make sure they understand what they're being told and can interpret it. Similarly, when they're talking to their technical officer or their operations manager or their legal advisor, they have the skill sets to now be able to have those conversations and make those decisions. So again, for me, a general MBA, and you'll see out there in the marketplace, there are some specific MBAs. Again, I'm a great believer in a general MBA because what we're exposing you to are skills and knowledge that you can take into any sector. And it's that management and leadership skills that we're teaching and helping you develop, and also helping you apply when you look at the projects.
Okay, great. I've got another good question from John. He said, again, referring to a bit earlier in your presentation, you've said you help students with their careers afterwards. Is your program more suitable for people with an interest in a career in the UK or an international role?
I think, again, we're an international program. So we work significantly with employers that have a presence in the UK. What we've found over the years, especially when we're looking at pharmaceuticals or business development roles, they may often look to us to hire students that want to return to their home market. So again, we have a large number of students that choose to stay in the UK, but over the years, increasingly people have returned to their home market and then launched a global career from there. So what I say is that you'll get this a lot when you do your MBA. There is no straightforward answer. What I do is have a chat with the schools that you're thinking of applying to and talk to them about what you want to achieve. And they should give you a clear view as to whether they can help you achieve that and how they can help you achieve that. The other thing I would say is because we've got the global centres, we have a careers presence across the globe as well. So if you're looking to move to the UAE or you're looking to move to China or that region, then we've also got contacts and links out there. So we've got quite a global coverage when it comes to careers.
Okay, great. And this kind of links on to this next question, which has come through Manan. On a different note, do you think our program is suitable for entrepreneurs?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, I think one of the things, and it's interesting, I get a lot of applicants that are entrepreneurial in spirit but aren't actually entrepreneurs, because as we know, entrepreneur, the pure definition is the risk taking and the investment. What a lot of my MBAs will often do is join the MBA and then match up with somebody who's had a technology or a service concept and help them commercialize that. So often working with nascent SMEs or even before that stage. Again, the other thing I love about our program is if you are a true entrepreneur and you're going to launch your business, if you look at the structure of our program on the 15-month or the 12, you get the opportunity to do, it's called an elective, but you can do a personal project. And what I do have is a number of students that will use that time to write or refine their business plan and leverage our academics and leverage our VC networks and contacts to start actually developing and moving that plan forward before they leave their MBA. So again, I think it's great for entrepreneurs, but again, you might have a personal set of goals that we can discuss further.
Okay, great, thanks. Just referring back to the Manchester method, Leo is asked to get as well. how you think it may have changed or developed over the years. I think you mentioned at the start of the presentation it streams back to the 1950s and how it potentially has developed since then.
Okay. Well, the one thing that has developed is a lot more schools out there now talk about it. So you'll talk to lots of schools and they'll say that they do projects and learning by doing, and a lot of them do, but none do so in the way that it's embedded within our program. And as far as I'm aware, there are none that do so much of that client-facing work. So that's one thing that's changed is we set the standard that lots of organisations are now looking to try and emulate. The second thing I'd say is that what hasn't changed, and apologies if I didn't explain this well, is that ethos, that real belief that my academics have and our school has, that the best way is that we're a behavioural MBA. So we're looking to develop and enhance your leadership skills and behaviours. And in order to develop your behaviours, you've got to actually use them, you've got to test them, you've got to be put in an environment where you have to make decisions, you've got to be put in an environment where you're working with people over which you have no direct control, and how will you cope with that? The other thing that's changed, the one thing that has changed, however, is what's actually taught within the programme. So even looking back to when I studied, there certainly wasn't the technology electives that we have now, and of course even when you're looking at what's taught in the core concepts, the concepts that are taught around strategy and organisational design and the life cycle of businesses has, of course, developed significantly over the years. But our core ethos of the best way to learn is by applied learning and decision making still remains true today.
Okay, great. So I think probably with regards to the programme, I'm just going to take one or maybe two more questions and then we'll kind of move on to admissions. So we've had quite a few questions come through regarding to that. Manan, who asked you about the entrepreneurship elements of the programme, has come on to us also follow-ups with, and what about the alumni community? Do you have some platform, society, job board and special community for alumnus?
Yes, we do. And again, what you'll find is that most organisations or schools will have that. So we have an amazing alumni service that can help facilitate and put you in touch with people. We also, like I say, have a great career service that will give you advice in how to reach out to people. Because again, as someone that used to work in an investment bank, there's nothing worse than somebody phoning up and saying, can you tell me about your bank? Well, no, you can look online. So again, there's ways to approach alumni, and I think that's probably more important than whether there's actually a platform there. We certainly do have a platform, but we also have the support of the alumni services and our careers team to help you approach and develop relationships with alumni. It's not about collecting names, it's about developing contacts.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so I think pretty much with the questions remaining, they are all around sort of admissions and application process and so on. So unless anyone has any final questions for Fran, we're going to move on to that section of this webinar. So Fran, you're welcome to hang around. Otherwise, you may want to say goodbye now. It's up to you.
I'll only hang around for the next 10 minutes if you promise me you can't hear the piano in the background.
I was enjoying the clarinet, actually. I could just hear it.
Okay, I will dial off then because I don't want to distract anyone. Thank you so much this afternoon for listening. And if you have got any questions about the programme, do jot them down and I'll get back to people. Rupert, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks, Fran. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure everyone here he's been dialed in and listening to that has appreciated it. So great. So we're just having a look at the remaining questions now, and we've got a few ones around admissions and application process and so on. One question from John: do you accept GRE or only GMAT? Yes, we do. We accept GRE and GMAT. So if you're considering taking that test as well, you can do. We don't have at this point have a formal sort of minimum GRE we recommend, but you can use our GMAT recommended level, which we like to see a score in the region of 600, and our class average is currently 650 GMAT score. And in fact, you can go online and do an online conversion to get a bit of an idea of what the region would be for GRE for you to achieve that. Okay, just referring to some more questions now. I've had a couple of questions saying, is there any scholarship opportunities around fees and funding? Yes, the good news is we do have scholarships for our MBAs. We have a number of different channels. Typically, we have our main pot of awards comes from school-funded scholarships, and they are eligible for every candidate who applies to the MBA. So if you apply and we think you're a great candidate, and then it could be likely you'll sign a scholarship alongside that. There's no additional application for those, and they run up to 50% of the fee value. We do have one or two more exclusive scholarships for particular candidates. I won't go into the details of that now, but and they are alumni funded and go up to a higher value. So if you can go onto our website and have a look there to get a better idea of what we have for offer in regards to higher value scholarships. And we can share a bit more detail about that after this call as well, with regards to where to go on our website. That's no problem at all. One question from Hajar: could you tell us a bit more about the structure of your distance and online programs? We can do. We won't use this opportunity now, but we will happily connect with you after the call. And in fact, if you'd like to send an email through to us, or hopefully we can get back to you fairly soon after this call, to global@manchester.ac.uk. And one of the team members here in the marketing and recruitment team for the MBA programs will get back to you and arrange a time to talk to you about our distance and online programs. We have a variety of MBAs here at Manchester, but what we call our professional MBA programs, which you work at the same time. And the main one is our global part-time MBA, and that is delivered in Manchester, but also via 5 of the centres around the world. So very attainable and very much a global program, and it's over 2 years. So happy to talk to you a bit more about that offline, Hajar. Do send a quick message through to global@manchester.ac.uk, and we'll get back to you, no problem at all. Another question from Ahmed: do you accept applications without GMAT? We don't. So if you're an international applicant, that you need to supply GMAT or a GRE score. Every applicant to the Manchester MBA has to present an admissions test to gain admission. And I'd say about 90% of or even more of our MBAs will supply GMAT. So that's something every candidate needs to do. As I said before, we look for a score in the 600s, and our class average at the moment is about 650. Okay, so I'm just reviewed the majority of the questions. I think they've pretty much all come through now. So I think we've addressed the majority of them. So at this point, I'm just going to refer back to the presentation and just do our final slide, which is a bit about next steps. If you were interested in picking up a conversation with us again, or meeting us online again, or even in person, and potentially if you wanted to submit an application as well, we'd happily support you through that process too. So first of all, yes, please do get in touch if you want to find out more. You can do that after this session, and we will of course be following up with everyone who's attended, give them an opportunity to connect with us again. If you are UK based, we have in-person on-campus events, and our next one will be on the 9th of March in a couple of weeks on a Saturday morning, and that will be our general full-time MBA information session, and it's a few hours on a Saturday morning for anyone who's UK based to come and see our brand new building and learn a bit more about the MBA program. Of course, we are a very global school, and we visit many cities internationally with the purpose of meeting potential MBA candidates. And in fact, this spring we're visiting over 60 cities globally. So do refer to our website on our events pages, and you can see exactly where our MBA representatives are in the coming months. In fact, we will as well towards the end of the summertime obviously update that for our full recruitment campaign as well, where we'll be visiting probably more than 60 cities leading up to the Christmas and New Year break. So we can keep you posted on that, no problem at all. With regards to more online events, we also run similar online events like to this, but in-house as well. And the next one we have is a careers focused one, which will be touching in a bit more detail onto the career support we offer on this MBA program, and also a bit about the employability of our MBAs and the types of jobs they're going on to, the types of recruiters, the types of companies. And Fran did touch on that a little bit on this call, but we will go into a lot more detail on that on the 5th of March. So that is next Tuesday. And we run 2 sessions, one at 1 p.m. and one at 6 p.m. So 2 slots for you to choose from. And then on a similar theme, we'll be running the following on the final of our episode of our online series on the 7th of May, and that will be a projects focus, so MBA projects focus. So something Fran talked in a bit of detail about during this session, and our director of MBA projects, Phil Galvin, will be going into a lot more detail, giving some case studies, some examples, and the types of projects our MBAs do. So that's really well worth a listen to. And finally, some key dates that you might be interested in if you are thinking of applying to our full-time MBA program, and that's our next application round, which will be on the 4th of April 2019. So if you're interested in applying to our next round, you'll have to submit your application with a valid admissions test score by that date. Again, we can support you through that process, and if you're interested in making that deadline, then do get in touch with us. Our main MBA inquiry email address, which if you're interested in the full-time MBA, is mba@manchester.ac.uk. And do get in touch. As I say, though, after this session in the coming days, we'll be following up with everyone who's attended and giving you the opportunity to get in touch with us and reach out and pick up the conversation again. Okay, so just before we end the session, I'm just going to refer back to the questions to see if we've had anything come through. Okay, one question from Agbota. Is it necessary to apply all necessary documents simultaneously, or can we do this in parts? It's beneficial that you have everything together. So all of your academic documents with regards to degree certificates and degree transcripts, and also your admission test certificate, and then apply. We wouldn't be able to consider your application until it is complete, and for it to be complete, it needs to have all of the parts in place at once. So I suggest spending time getting that together and then targeting the next deadline, the nearest deadline to apply. And the language tests, is there a language test that you need to submit? Yes, depending on where you are from and your nationality and how you were schooled. So it is subjective, but the rule of thumb is that if you're an international non-UK candidate, you'd have to supply a language test. And the most common ones are IELTS and TOEFL. And you can get a bit more detail as to the scores we accept and require off our website. But yes, you will need to have that in place to apply. Do you have a maximum age for the MBA program? No, we don't. Now, obviously, there are typical fits that of candidates or profiles that come onto this MBA, and this is why business schools also offer things called executive MBA programs or part-time distance MBAs as well, which tend to attract a more senior candidate if they are, if they have a family or even work commitments. And so, no, we don't have an age cap for the full-time MBA. But you will find there is a typical experience range, which tends to be something between 3 years up to maximum sort of 15 years postgraduate work experience. And how many intakes do we have per year? We have 1 intake for our full-time MBA program, and that is in September. So the next one, obviously, September 2019, and again, the following one will be 2020. Okay then, so I think we have answered all the questions and we've come to the end of our sort of presentation. So at this time, I'm just going to say thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to connecting you again soon. As I say, we will follow up with everyone after this session in the coming days, and that's your opportunity to reach out to us again and pick up the conversation, which we look forward to happening. For the moment, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you very much, and extend a thanks to Fran for giving her time to talk to you today. Hopefully it's been a useful session for you, and we look forward to connecting again soon. Okay, bye for now from Manchester.